My name's Chaim Kline, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I met Selma the year that Vital Options was formed, and we shared a close friendship until the day before she died. When I think of Selma, I think of this dynamic woman with raven black hair. You look at all the pictures that we've seen tonight of her blonde hair, but if you look at the pictures by the Vital Options, you'll see someone that was wearing incredible couture and great makeup and jewelry and had this striking outward persona that came from inside, of course. I think of someone who, like Derek was saying, she lived across the street from the shul on Moore Park, not far from here, and the living room, I was a bit taken aback the first time I came in, with all black lacquered furniture and gold and black lacquered furniture, the entire living room, and a gold piano. And she loved to play the piano in those days, and I think it was Bob Fossum who did early music for Vital Options. I remember evenings sitting in the living room, and the two of them would be at the piano, doing four-hand piano and playing, singing together. It was really great. We shared many different things. One among our areas of closeness was her love of her father and her mother's memory and her Judaism. So often when she had, it sounds funny looking at me today, but in any case, often when she would have halachic questions, she would call me and we would talk, and I would do research for her, or sometimes when she was giving sermons or speeches that had Jewish content, she would run ideas by me, and I might find sources for her to play with. And we shared this back and forth of our love of Judaism, which was a central part of her life, deeply. It was deeply shared between us. She invited me when her father was extraordinarily cared for by Debbie and Ken in their house in the last years of his life. And during that time, Selma actually became much, much closer again with her sister and seeing the unbelievable love that was being given to her father. And near the end of that time, she invited me to be involved in his funeral, which I was the cantor for that service. And then later in her life, she asked me if I would actually conduct the service for herself when that time ever came, and also deliver the eulogy, which I realized today that I'll send on to Terry so that can be posted to the website where the text of the eulogy where I talk about her in much greater detail can be there, and all of you will be able to see that along with all the other incredible things that people speak about and reflect on Selma at this website. So a part of Selma that I don't think's been spoken about too much, but it's probably been alluded to, but Selma was really a very romantic character. That sense of romanticism is something that I shared with her as well. And I chose to read three Japanese love poems today in her honor. The author, Kankimoto Hitomaro, lived in the 11th century in Japan. He was an official, and he traveled quite a lot. And his corpus is compiled in a great Japanese compilation called the Manyoshu, which was compiled in the 12th century, and it's the great collection of early Japanese poetry. He married in middle age. His wife tragically dies, leaving him with a child. And he wrote a series of short poems, and then he wrote a long series of three nagas, which are a much longer form of Japanese poetry than most of us are familiar with. So I'm going to read two short poems and this longer poem. And I felt that the longer poem was appropriate in not only the incredible heartfelt nature of love lost in the poem, it's that given that so many people here come from the medical establishment as well as people who know personally, that we all know people who have died. We all have loss in our lives. We all are left alone in the end. And I felt that this poem spoke deeply to the emotion of this loss. In the empty mountains, the leaves of the bamboo grass rustle in the wind. I think of a girl who is not here. When I left my girl in her grave on Mount Hikiti and walked down the mountain path, I felt as though I were dead. When she was alive, we would go out arm in arm and look at the elm trees growing on the embankment in front of our house. Their branches were interlaced. Their crowns were dense with spring leaves. They were like our love. Love and trust were not enough to turn back the wheels of life and death. She faded like a mirage over the desert. One morning, like a bird, she was gone in the white scarves of death. Now when the child whom she left in her memory cries and begs for her, all I can do is pick him up and hug him clumsily. I have nothing to give him. In our bedroom, our pillows still lie side by side as we once lay. I sit there by myself and let the days grow dark. I lie awake at night, sighing till daylight. No matter how much I mourn, I shall never see her again. They tell me her spirit may haunt Mount Haggai under the eagle's wings. I struggle over the ridges and I climb to the summit. I know all the time that I shall never see her, not even so much as a faint quiver in the air. All my longing